accept that many people are concerned about the predominance of Germany in the European community, both here and elsewhere in Europe, but that the answer does not lie in federal Europe, because a majority voting system already contains Germany, and to move down the federal route and to go for a central bank would do no more than ensure that that central bank was dominated by the economic realities of the strength of the Deutschmark. And therefore we're far better off making sure that we have a wider Europe in which we have a balance of interests, including people from East, West and Central Europe as a whole.
Mr. Speaker, I'm totally against a federal Europe, and I believe the overwhelming majority of people in this country are against a federal Europe. I think we should not take any steps in that direction, but to uphold cooperation between peoples. Of course, Germany will continue to be a very, very important country in the community, very important indeed. And Chancellor Kohl, in fact, is always very European in his approach and very generous in his help to Eastern European countries. I think it is better that we negotiate with Germany as she is now, and we as we are now, and not try to have a kind of United States of Europe. One thing to have United States of America from a newly settled country, quite a different thing with ancient nation states, each with their own tradition.
John D. Taylor.
Mr. Speaker, although the Ulster Unionist Parliamentary Party sits presently on this side of the House, is the Prime Minister aware that we are shocked at the somersault of policy decisions which have taken place within the British Labour Party, who are now prepared to sacrifice the democratic rights of the British people and instead accept economic policies imposed by a bureaucracy based outside this country? Mr. Speaker, sir, the Prime Minister in her statement said that the policy of this government was to oppose a single currency. But I notice he is now qualifying it with a new adjective, an imposed single currency. Has she really shifted her position slightly? And is she now really saying that she is prepared to negotiate an agreed single currency? I think this needs to be clarified.
No, Mr. Speaker, I think if the honourable gentleman looks at the debate, he will find the debate that we had, he will find that it has been quite clearly spelled out that we have proposed a hard ECU that will be inflation-proofed, that is a parallel or common currency, not a single currency, that it could, by choice, if people used it more, evolve into a single currency, but in fact, before any single currency could come about, it will be a matter for future parliaments and future generations if they themselves wished to abolish a single currency. This government is against a single currency. It is not for us to bind successors in 20 or 30 years' time.
Mr. Hazelhurst.
What evidence does my right honourable friend have that the bulk of industry and business upon whose success our national livelihood depends is in any way reluctant to see the ordered emergence of a single currency as a logical consequence to the completion of a single market?
A single market and a single currency are two totally different things. As a short study of that would reveal. And may I point out that some of the great manufacturing nations, like Japan, like the United States, like Switzerland, they don't have a common currency or single currency with anyone else. They have a single currency of their own, and it does not hinder or affect their manufacturing position. And it doesn't affect our position as the greatest financial centre in Europe, that we're not like the yen but we're sterling, we're not like the dollar but we're sterling. We trade in them all.
Mr. Gavin Strang.
Surely the Prime Minister understands that virtually every member of this House of Commons is agreed on the absolute necessity of securing the withdrawal of Iraq from Kuwait. Is she aware that the unanimous Council declaration on the Gulf crisis, with its references to a peaceful solution and the importance of maintaining a consensus in the UN Security Council is to be warmly welcomed, is it not pretty clear from that declaration that there would not be support among the governments of the European Community for early military action led by the United States? And can she therefore give us an assurance that the government's policy will be consistent with that declaration and that the government intends to give mandatory economic sanctions proper time to work?
This matter was dealt with when we debated it in this House. We would not believe in letting any aggressor know what action or when we propose to take it. We already have full legal authority under Article 51 and by the request of the Emir of Kuwait. The position undoubtedly would be best resolved if Saddam Hussein withdrew totally from Kuwait, the legitimate government of Kuwait was restored, and he agreed to pay compensation, and we could therefore, through the United Nations, negotiate with him about the ending of the making of chemical weapons, biological weapons, and nuclear weapons, and having a much, much smaller armed force, so that we were never put in the same position again. Whether it can be resolved peacefully depends totally on Saddam Hussein accepting unreservedly the United Nations resolutions.
Order. I'm sorry it's not been possible. Order. It's been possible for me to call all the honourable member who wished to participate. Well, no good getting frustrated about it. I've done my best today to call honourable members who were not called when the Prime Minister last returned from a summit at, I'm on my feet, the summit at Houston on the 12th of July. I shall keep today's list carefully too.